Welcome to the Missionary for Children. The missionary for this Saturday, July 26th, brings as a faithful title in school. Have you ever started the school year late? If you have, you know how awkward it is to arrive after all the other kids have been together for a while. The other children already know each other, but you don't know anyone, and no one knows you. This is how 12-year-old Sashimo felt when she arrived as a new student to attend the 8th grade at a boarding school in Zambia. Due to a confusion in the paperwork, she started studying at the girls' school a month late. So when Sashimo arrived at the dormitory, she didn't know anyone about the girls, and no one knew her. However, all the other girls knew each other because they had been studying together for 4 weeks. Sashimo soon realized that not knowing anyone was the least of her problems. He learned that he had a very important exam. Sashimo arrived at school on a Friday, and the exam was on Monday. The other girls had been preparing for the exam for 4 weeks. The teacher told them that their last chance to study was Friday night. The school was not Adventist, but Sashimo came from an Adventist family. She didn't want to study on Friday night. At 6 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, the teacher took Sashimo and 55 other girls to a classroom and told them to review for the exam one last time. The girls had 3 hours to study. After sitting down, Sashimo looked at the other girls around him. They were busy studying for the exam, but Sashimo brought out a book about the Sabbath. I had packed the book in my suitcase so I would have something to read on Saturday. Soon, the other girls realized that Sashimo was not studying for the exam and asked him what they were doing. She explained that she was an Adventist and was looking forward to the Sabbath. The girls looked at each other. It turned out that 6 of those girls also came from Adventist homes, but they were studying for the exam. One of the girls said, "God understands our situation. We have to pass the exam." Sashimo disagrees. God said, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." Exodus 28. And she was determined to keep the Sabbath, to move on to whatever happened. Sashimo didn't review that day for the exam, but passed it without a problem on Monday. She was sure that God had blessed her for keeping the Sabbath. However, the story does not end there. Sashimo soon discovered that her new school required all girls to clean the school's dormitories and other grounds every Saturday if Shimo didn't want to work on the Sabbath and didn't want to cause trouble either. So he hid on the sports court during cleanup time on the first few Saturdays. But a teacher found her on the field and asked her why she wasn't helping. Sashimo explained that he was keeping the Sabbath. The teacher understood and allowed her to clean on Sundays. Then something interesting happened. The Adventist girls saw that Sashimo was keeping the Sabbath and asked if they too could clean up on Sunday. They got permission, and a group of Adventist girls began to keep the Sabbath. Sashimo's faithfulness caught the attention of girls from non-Adventist homes. He was asked many questions about the Sabbath, "We want to understand why you keep the Sabbath," said one. "We worship on a Sunday because Jesus rose again on a Sunday." "Why do you worship on the Sabbath?" said another. He spoke about the true meaning of the Sabbath, saying that in the beginning God blessed the seventh day, and that it had nothing to do with God's resurrection. The Bible says, "On the seventh day God finished what he had done and rested. Then he blessed the seventh day and declared it a holy day. For on that day he rested from all his work of creation," Genesis says. Many girls were impressed to learn that the Sabbath is the true Sabbath. They asked to join sashimo to keep the Sabbath and work only on Sunday. Thus, thanks to sashimo's faithfulness, many girls at the non-Adventist boarding school in Zambia began to keep the Sabbath. If God could use sashimo to take many girls to observe the Sabbath in Zambia, imagine what God could do with you. Friend, put your gifts and talents at the service of God, and do not forget to always give a good witness. God bless you.